Hey everybody, it's Ozone. Welcome back to my little corner of the world here in Vintage Story. Winter has settled over the valley once again, and yeah, so has the blanket of snow. In between episodes, I have been keeping myself pretty busy. Down below, I finished up the batch of steel that we'd been working on, and as you can see, started another one. So I'm up to now 30 ingots of steel, which I'm guessing will go toward new steel armor at some point. But for now, I just keep on making more up, as time permits. I've been continuing to make up more iron in the bloomeries as well, and I've almost got enough ingots for another round of steel once this one finishes, and I've definitely got the blooms. But look at that, my copper is really low. My iron is still doing really well, but yeah, my copper is getting really low. I actually used up all the copper. I didn't think I would ever do that, but I did. So I went out and mined out an easy surface vein, got some copper, some lead, and got a little bit more stocked up. But I think that's going to have to be one of the projects for this winter, is to go on a big copper mining run once again. But of course I do have a good number of copper plates ready to make up more lanterns and a few copper ingots as well, so it's not urgent. Also in between time I found and trapped some more chickens. Wait, oh, that one's dead. Interesting. I had a weird thing happen with one of the traps, and it just disappeared, so I guess it died in the trap, and I guess that's where it went. But, you know, we've got some eggs on the ground here, and a hen, and a rooster right there, so we're doing fine. Working on repopulating those chickens. The pigs here are not happy with me, though, because a batch of piglets has been born. At least one batch, maybe more. Yep, they are super duper noisy as always, but this should be generation 3, and I think that they'll stop attacking me at generation 3. At least I hope. Additionally, I have been working on yet another tunnel. This one goes east, and it goes all the way to the lake. I find these tunnels to be a good in-between episode project, and I find them to be really useful. It's so much easier to get over to this area now that I can run on the path blocks. And at some point, I'll continue the road all the way across the lake, just because, like I said, it is super easy. And because I like them so much, I'd worked on another one to the south. I find myself going south fairly regularly, and so I like this path in particular because this is a very flat area, very plainsy, and I find it easier to move around and search for things. Also, this area is sedimentary rock, which is different from the igneous rock of the area where I'm currently basing, and so I can find different resources down here more frequently. This is where I find my lead and borax, mostly, honestly. And so these are the kinds of projects that I'm probably going to be continuing to do a lot during the wintertime. It's easy to do, it's kind of brainless, and it passes the time. Because kind of, honestly, I just want winter to be over. Sad as it is to say, that's kind of just how I feel about it. Also in between episodes, look at that, we got 3 windmills now. Yep, I finished up all the pieces that we needed in order to do the 3rd windmill and make up all the sails and get it all connected up to the gears. So, we should have plenty of power now from each of the windmills. If I ever really do want more power, I can take the tower and make it taller, but I really don't see much of a need to do that. I can add even a 4th windmill right here, and honestly, that should be all we need. Now additionally, in between episodes, I have been continuing to pan up the bony soil that I'd collected. It was like 2 episodes ago that I had gone exploring, found a cemetery and a dungeon underneath it actually, and dug up a whole bunch of bony soil. I had well over a stack of it, and I had been able to add to it as time goes by. Well, one way to pass the time during the night is just to pan up that bony soil. And so I'm ready to show you what all I got from that stack and change of bony soil. All right here in this chest. Well, as expected, we get a lot of bones. It is bony soil after all. We got bony rib cages and a whole bunch of bones, but look at all this other good stuff that's in here. We got some copper malame, a whole bunch of copper arrowheads, copper spearheads, a whole bunch of flint arrowheads, as well as a whole bunch of flax fibers as well. But these These are the ones that I am most interested in. Lore books. I really don't know anything about the lore of Vintage Story. I've heard some things, but I haven't encountered it in game. So these lore books are high on my list of things that I want to do. I also got a few more of these turning cylinders, which I still don't know what to do with, as well as a silver chain and a bronze gem necklace. These are useless baubles, I think. They're neat to find. I could probably turn the silver chain into some silver chunks. I don't know, but I think it's neat to find. But otherwise, they're useless. A bunch of candles and some gold and silver nuggets, but not enough to make a plate for a brighter lantern. Also, a little bit of peridot and emerald gemstones, which I'm sure is good, but I don't know what I'm going to use them for. But for right now, I want to start looking at these lore books, and it looks like there's two different kinds, cherry red and dark gray. Now, I would think that with a full stack of Bony Soil and doing the amount of panning that I did on all of that, I would probably get all or really close to all of the items that you can get from the Bony Soil. But I feel like there should be more lore books than just two. Anyway, let's take a look at what they have to say. Now, just a quick word of warning here. This will be spoilery content. If you don't want the lore of this game spoiled, skip ahead until we get done finish reading. I'll have timestamps in the descriptions down below. So we're starting with Cherry Red. What does it have to say? Ooh, Diet of Kings. And it adds it to my journal. Interesting. Master Jonas Falx, please come forth. The lords and ladies rose when he entered the room. Even the kings gave him small gestures of welcome. He walked to the center of the court, his attendant behind him bearing a great collection of drafts. My lords, as I am sure you are now aware of, we face a nightmarish threat. This disease, or plague as it has been called, is not overly complex. Neither is it beyond our vision. It is quite simply desolation made manifest. Here, his attendant began to lay out a number of medical diagrams upon the floor. Master Falx issued from one parchment to the next, gesturing as he went. It rots the body in its entirety. It begins externally with numbness and darkness and darkened skin, proceeded further into the ligaments. The victim may lose control of entire limbs. Eventually, the flesh sloughs into small heaps. By this time, the victim has likely entered a cataleptic state. This may as well be a blessing for them. The rot will have overtaken their eyes and ears by now, depriving them of their senses. Arriving at the last parchment, he paused and gazed upon it. Many of the gathered assembly also leaned forward to see the image more clearly. From the scribe's desk, it appeared only to be a drooping mass of charcoal smearings. This is all that remains of the poor souls in its final stages. The rot consumes the mind and body whole, leaving nothing of distinction. Here, His Majesty the King of Underland interjected. Is there truly no mention of treating this malady? What preventions are available to us? King of Underland. I'd never heard that name, so now we got a name for the realm. No preventions, Your Grace, save total isolation from the populace. Even such a drastic method as that will only last until the food supply is infected. As for treatments, I have found none. Perhaps some of my betters from the Academy have made progress, but judging by their silence, I think not. He paused again here and cleared his throat. It is certain death. However, I stand now to offer you a better fate. Whoa, that's dark indeed. I think we know where the drifters have come from, huh? They've been affected by this rot. Wow. Okay, deep, deep, deep. Let's go on to the next one. Lore breakdown, 1 of 1. Constant clamoring, people shouting, I'm worried, things were quieter before. We had almost given up. Nobody spoke. We just desperately worked on the project, but now it's almost time to wake it, and the people are excited. They're too excited. They don't know. They don't understand. I don't even understand it. What have we created? What greater doom have we wrought upon ourselves? We should have all died. Maybe we should have all just died when the rot came for us. I've begun to see things, even when I'm not gazing through the lens. Walking down the halls, looking at the prints, suddenly my vision shifts, and I'm in a world I cannot comprehend. I'm in the other world, and it's leaking into this one. I've begun to notice its effect. My creations, cherished by the people, and without which this project would never succeed. They are strange to me now. There is something wrong with them. It is the otherworldliness I have given them. An eidolon was found 2 shifts ago, with blood and mutation splattered across its plates. The workmen, they wrote it off as an accident. But I know better. Oh no! Wow! What is happening to the poor people? It's the blending of the worlds like we see in the temporal storms, I think. Well, those are the 2 books that we've got, Cherry Red and Dark Gray. Now, the question is, if I look at these other 2, which are Cherry Red and Dark Gray, are we going to get the same stories? Yes, we are. They don't do anything different. But judging by that journal entry, there's clearly a lot more books to be found. That's a lot of space for just 2 entries. So now my question is, do I need to go get more Bony Soil and start collecting it again? I would have thought that I'd be able to get all of the books, but gauging by what's happened here, I feel like I might get more or new books if I start panning soil once again. So I guess I'm going to be looking for more ruins and more ways to get some Bony Soil. The other books, though, may just be found by some other method altogether. Dungeons or whatever. So wow, very interesting indeed. I'm glad to have finally gotten some lore, and the Bony Soil is what did it for me. Alright, well, now it's time to get back to the projects at hand, I think. And the most immediate one is dealing with these berries that I picked in the last episode. The last of the berries don't seem to be doing really well. All of the currants have already rotted, but these cranberries are more hardy, it seems. But I think I like the idea of making juice out of it and trying to get into some alcohol distillation. Because the big benefit with that is you can get some really, really good bandages with that, right? I mean, yes, you can drink the alcohol and it stays good for a long, long time, but there's no gameplay benefit. There's no strategy benefit to getting drunk, so I'm not going to do it. But there is a way to make alcohol bandages, and you get really, really good healing from that. So I think that makes alcohol distillation worthwhile. Now, there is going to be 2 new pieces of equipment that we need. That is the condenser and the boiler. They're going to take an awful lot of copper and a new material, lead solder. And lead solder is just an alloy of lead and tin. So I was able to make up a couple of these ingots in between episodes. And so aside from the fruit press, this all should be pretty easy to do. So I guess let's just get started. One of the first tools that we need to make, though, is this soldering iron. And that's just going to be a copper chisel on a stick. But I don't have a copper chisel, so it looks like that needs to be the first task. All right, 1 copper chisel with a stick makes a soldering iron. Now, to take the solder itself and make the pieces that we need, we got to use a saw. Go ahead and do all that. And I also grab all of the plates that I think I'll need. So looking at these things once again, looks like soldering iron over here, some solder over here, and plates. And we got the boiler. Okay. And the condenser is largely the same. There we go. So yeah, that doesn't seem like that's too difficult. Now, how do we put these guys down, I wonder? This is something that I have not looked at all. Maybe? No. Close, I think. I think I need that part there, which seems to be doing the condensing, to connect up to this. So this way? Well, no. Getting there. Like that? That looks like that's right. I don't really know. I bet there's a guide for this. Hey, distillation. Okay, and this is the part that I'm after. It says repeat the distillation process with spirits, and the resulting product will be nearly pure alcohol called aqua vitae. I'm probably not saying that right, which can be used as an ingredient used for useful items, meaning bandages. So I feel like that's right, and I do just happen to have a bucket, so there it goes. But first we need to distill things in a barrel. Alright, let me go get a barrel and see what we can do with it. Alright, so I'm going to just place these guys right here, and I'm assuming that if I get a stack of berries and put it in the barrel, that should be sufficient, and seal it. Do I need water? It doesn't let me seal it, so I need something else. Oh wait, it's not berries itself, it's the juices. I need to make the fruit press now. Got it! It is a good thing I've been able to make up more copper. I didn't expect that the fruit press would need that copper. But I am glad that all of the distillery stuff did not use all of my copper plates. That's good, because I've got a lot of candles, and I can always use more lanterns. And we do still have... Oh, I don't have enough resin. I need 2 resin for this, and I've only got 1. Well, it looks like as soon as it's daytime, I'm going to be going out and collecting resin, and we'll come back once I've got it, and we can continue making this fruit press. And for what it's worth, I highly doubt that we're actually going to use that soldering iron once again. And that's a little annoying that you've got to make something for one use. I mean, I don't know that it's one use, but I really don't know what else I would use it for. I guess that's why we got the survival handbook, and yeah, it's used for only those 2 things. And I really don't think I'll ever need more than one of them, but we just might. You never know. Well, anyway, I'll wait till morning and get that resin, and we'll pick things up there. Well, that was a productive trip. Not only did I get the resin, all 9 pieces, but I also ran into some wolves and got a couple lumps of fat, which is really good. It's exactly what I need. So let's try this again. Man, everything needs hammer and chisel. Always feels weird, too, because it doesn't really feel like it matters that much. Or shouldn't, anyway. Anyway, a fruit press. Yay, finally! And let's put that right there. Cool. Now we need another bucket underneath. I guess I could do that bucket. There we go. And now back for the cranberries. How do we do that? Oh, that's easy. That's easy. Okay, we can put a full 32 in there. And then compress and compress and compress. Nice. Release screw to add or remove fruit. How much do we have in there? 4.3, 4.8. Still going. All right. Looks like we got... Oh, we did get the full 10 liters out of that. All right. Nice. So let's add that to a barrel. Ah, wonderful. And do that again. Nice, nice. Looks like I've got 2 liters of cranberry juice left over and a full barrel of cranberry juice. Now can I seal it? Yes. We'll turn into 50 liters of cranberry wine after 7 days. Well, I suppose I should have done that before making the whole distillery and stuff, but that's nice. I feel better knowing that my cranberries aren't just going to go to rot and go to waste. And so in 7 days, we'll start that distillation process and start making some cranberry wine. I guess in the meantime, I've got some cranberry juice to drink. And we also got all of this cranberry mash, which the pigs will eat. So I guess let's go feed the pigs. I'm going to focus on giving them to the pigs back here. But unfortunately, you know, like I said, they're kind of unhappy with me right now. But I think I can... Oh, that just throws the whole block in there. Well, let's separate that out a little bit. Have a portion for you. And a portion for you. Alright. Well, basically everybody got some food. Not that they really need it, but there really isn't anything else to do with it. So, yeah, might as well give it to them. One of the biggest problems with wintertime is just trying to stay busy during the night. And I've gotten quite a few projects done, but I'm also just getting bored through the night. You know what I mean? The The nights are so long and the days are so short. It's just hard. Well, anyway, one of the other projects that I wanted to get done while it's winter out here is I wanted to be able to dig a basement underneath here. I want to be able to put my charcoal pit in the basement, maybe the cemetery factory steel making thing outside, and probably some pit kilns as well. Because while I do have lots of space in this house, there are still things that, I need to go outside to do, and if I could just put it all in the basement, that would be even better. Now, unfortunately, I really don't feel like I've got a lot of good places to put a stairs. Now, I've got this thing down to my hidey hole and the drifter grinder for temporal storms, and I've got a lot of space here, and it's very wide open, but it's not really divided up very well, and there's really no good place to put some stairs. But I think another thing that I do want to do with the basement is to move my storage down there so that this could be more of a room, I suppose. And I want to have more windows. So I guess right here in front of the chests will work for a stairway down, and then eventually when the chests get moved, it'll look okay. So that'll be another good nighttime project. Unfortunately, right now, it is daytime, and as always, when it comes to be daytime, I feel like I need to be out and about and doing stuff. So I think I'm going to go work on the tunnels or go collect more resources. Maybe start that copper mine. Oh, I know what I want to do. Yes, now that it is daytime, I want to try to go back to where I had been looking for halite. I had only really been looking for halite around, in the caves, and I didn't really go digging for it. So, yeah, I think it's time to go on a big dig trying to find the salt. Now, I really don't like the idea of doing this because it is only a poor chance. I'd rather be spending my energy digging around trying to find something that is better than a poor chance. Yeah, I still haven't done anything with her either. Because while I did get a hit on it and there could be some halite there, having only a poor chance is really not a good use of time. Oh, hey, it's some fruit trees. We got a dormant pear and a yellow apple. I had found only one other fruit tree, and I was really surprised that I just hadn't found that many. I probably have walked by this tree quite a bit, but now that it's wintertime, it's so easy to see. Awesome. Well, I am absolutely going to be collecting this. Now, when it comes to fruit trees, they are different than your regular trees. They don't drop seeds, they drop cuttings, and sometimes firewood, depending on how well you do. But with these guys, I got 3 apple cuttings and 4 pear cuttings, which is really, really great. Now, you plant the cuttings in the ground just like a seed, but they have a really low chance of survival. So I'm really glad that I got a bunch of them. And once they do survive, or if they do survive, then they can grow into the fruit tree. And then you can start grafting other branches onto the branches of the fruit tree that you've got. But like I said, they need to be planted, and honestly, they need to be planted late winter because they need to get down to a certain temperature and then warm up. But if they get too cold, they're just going to die. So, I'm glad that I found them in winter, and when springtime rolls around, I'm going to be trying to get those trees to survive. But for right now, we just got to collect, and I'm definitely on the lookout for more of those fruit trees because they do stick out like a sore thumb in the wintertime. All right, we are over here where I was getting the higher halite readings. 20 parts per thousand is really a lot, but it's a very poor chance, and all of these were poor. I think that one was maybe the best with a poor chance of 29. That's a long way away. Now, the problem with halite is that it's really difficult to find because of the way it generates. Most things will generate as a flat disk, and if you just dig around a bunch, you'll probably fall into it. But not halite. Halite spawns as a tube or a pillar poking up from the ground. It's rather narrow, and that makes it really hard to find. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of go into the mountain here at the side and start making horizontal tunnels, hoping that I'm going to run into it. I'm going to go down a little ways first and try to be at a better elevation, because it can spawn quite high, but it can also spawn a little lower. And like I said, it's really kind of hard to find. A lot of times the best way to find halite is to go caving. But yeah, in the last episode, I ran around this area looking in caves and did not really find anything. So now we do the more brute force approach, and that's just digging tunnels. Now this is interesting. It says there are some native silver and quartz trace amounts around here. So somewhere among this quartz, there's some silver nuggets. So I guess it's probably worth digging around, because I would like a better lantern, and that seems to be the way to go. Ooh, now we're getting gold in quartz with this hit. Aha! Native silver ore. With my texture pack installed, it looks very different from quartz. Very nice. I wonder how much of this we're going to find. I wouldn't expect too awful much. And there's the other part of it, native gold. I have never found gold before. Is that all there is? Just the one node? Well, I guess we have to pro pick to find out. And yes, there was just the one node of gold. But I am glad to have found some silver and gold. And I can definitely hear a lot of drifters nearby, so yep, there's a cave. Which might not be a bad thing. We just got to get past all the drifters. It's a cave that I've been down, because that's my dirt. Well, I clearly didn't find any halite down in this cave, so I guess we'll just redirect and move on. Alright, we're down about level 50, and I think this is a good place to start trying to branch out. It's pretty deep, and the drifters are going to be the deep drifters. But, again, I've got good armor, so I think we'll be alright. But it's really just about doing a lot of the searching. Trying to get close to one of these salt domes that are poking up from the depths. They're really hard to find. Pro picks, not turning up much, and I think the salt itself won't even show up with a pro pick, and I think that's really annoying and not really a good. I don't know. I just don't like that about the game. But there is some other minerals within the salt domes, sylvite, and I think that does show up on the pro pick. I think, but that is how I hope to be able to find some halite. Ooh. Sylvite, small amounts. This is what we're after. That means that there is salt nearby. At least, I believe so. Okay, you know what? I'm going to mark it right there with some dirt. So let's go this way. It did say it was nearby, and the following test had no ores nearby. So let's try in this direction. No ores nearby. Well, if it's not this way, it's probably down. But let's take a gander this way. What is that? Halite rock. There it is. We have found it. Finally. Halite turns into 2 salt when ground. Okay, let me try to dig all the way across it, because this should not be very wide. There we go. It looks like it's about 7 by 7 or 8, a pillar that goes from somewhere well down deep to somewhere up above, and it's going to have some of this sylvite in it. I don't honestly know what you do with sylvite. It says it turns into potash. Okay, well, it turns into potash, and we'll figure out what do you do with potash a little later. But I think I want to try to find the top of this so that I can get to the top and then work my way down. And I think I'm also going to just grab as much as I possibly can. So let's go. Okay, so I think I found the top of this. I did my digging at like Y53, and here I am at the top of this thing at Y78. So yeah, I've got a lot of vertical here, and it's just not very wide, That makes it so hard to find. But now I get to clear as much of this out as I can carry anyway. And honestly, that's probably as much as I'm ever going to need. So as usual, my inventory is the limiting factor here. But I am going to try to get all of the sylvite that I can, even though I don't really know what it's used for. So I have an interesting technique. I made a hole straight through this salt dome, and that way I can see all of these blocks all the way around the hole. So if I do another hole right here, I'll be able to see these blocks and grab any sylvite that I see on the way down. I think that's a rather clever way to do it. Yeah, like this right here. There's no way I would have ever seen that. I feel like I might have a temporal storm coming, but I haven't had any notices of a temporal storm. I've got the music turned off, so I don't know why I'm hearing these sounds. Well, honestly, this was a really successful trip. I did not expect to actually find the halite in this area. We got really, really lucky. Plus, some gold and silver. But, as always, my inventory is full. So it's time to head back and enjoy the spoils. And you know, now that I've gotten up to a higher elevation, the music has stopped. So, I do think the music was letting me know that my sanity is getting low. I mean, my wheel was about half low, and maybe that's just part of the whole hearing things. Because when your wheel gets too low, you hear things and see things. And maybe that music is a part of it. But I'm always glad to be out of the caves. I like mining, I like exploring, but I'm always glad to be on my way home too. Now that I'm home, I got the fun part here. And that is to find out how much silver and gold we got from these chunks. Well, one singular chunk. Only 3 gold? Wow. Okay, and a total of 77 silver. That should be enough, along with my, let's see, what do I got? I got 8 silver already. So 85 silver, 4 ingots, 2 plates. I think that might be enough to get a better lantern. Okay, so we only need 1 silver plate. Well, we can do that. Oh, a better lantern will be coming up shortly. As for the main target of the trip, the halite, we throw that in the cairn and let that get all ground up. Looks like actually it can only do half a stack because it's going to turn into 2 salt. Very good. Great for preserving food. And now with that all ground up, we can work on actually brining up some vegetables. I've gone ahead and filled up my bucket here, and 1 salt will do 2 liters of water. So 25 salt for a full 50 liters automatically turns it to brine. And now we do the same thing for vegetables. 50 vegetables in 50 liters of brine will turn into 50 pickled turnips after 14 days. Nice. And I've got tons and tons of turnips, so let's do it. So that was easy, and honestly, I do think I probably got enough salt to last me forever in this game. Or at least as long as I'm playing. And while the pickled vegetables are good, they last a long time, I really haven't had any problems with vegetables or running out of vegetables. No, the main reason to pickle the vegetables is to start making cheese, once I actually get some more milk from my goats. Now you can also salt meats, too. And next time I kill a bunch of pigs, I'll probably salt those meats up to keep them fresh for a little longer. But I am really happy about finding salt. It's a big accomplishment and was a big risk, honestly. But as usual, we are out of time for this episode. I think in between episodes, I'm going to start digging out the basement underneath here and probably come back and have that be all done. And probably continue to dig out the tunnels as well. But I guess you'll have to come back in the next episode to see how far I actually get. Now, I really appreciate everybody that's hung around to the end of the episode with me, and I really hope you had a good time. If you did, please give me a like on the video, maybe even consider subscribing. We recently hit the 1,000 mark, that absolutely amazing 1,000 mark, and I'll say it again, thank you to everybody that has subscribed and continues to watch the videos along with me. I appreciate it so much. Well, as usual, I guess that's all there is to say, and so we'll say until the next episode, remember, be excellent to each other. I'm out.